The healing sound of the guitar as a gentle, resonant voice that seems to speak directly to the nervous system. With such a soft, clean-toned instrument, American singer-songwriter Andy Tubman, who recently toured Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou in China, shared with me his stories of becoming a music therapist and why he has become so deeply involved in songwriting and touring at this stage of his life. This is Footprints. I'm Huang Rui, bringing you another inspiring music story for today's episode.
It feels like you.
Holding his cherished honey-colored guitar in his arms, Andy Tubman unfolds his stories.
Ni hao, 我是 Andy. I'm Andy Tubman, and I actually started as a music therapist, not as a musician. I went to college for music therapy, and then once I went to college for music therapy, I started working as a music therapist in a psychiatric hospital in a very heavy, sad place. And I found a room where there wasn't anybody, and I snuck away with a guitar, and just for my own therapy, I started writing songs and felt much better. You know, I needed that break, that 20 minutes, 30 minutes of writing songs and getting into that flow state. And it was a very powerful thing for me to be able to get some relief from the heavy work. And then someone said, I like that song. And I'm like, oh no, really? And then I started writing songs all the time, and I started doing music therapy all the time. And these two worlds are very different, but they're threaded, they're connected through music.
Before Andy chose to study music therapy, he thought he might become a sports star. Although his father was an opera singer, he did not live under the weight of his parents' expectations.
My dad and my mom they were on the belief that I should find what's interesting to me. And so I never really was interested in music. However, my dad would show me how not to hurt my voice, not really develop it as a young kid, but don't scream and breathing and different things, right? How to help your voice. But I just played baseball and I was kind of on the side. I did some singing in high school, but choir, I wasn't serious. I was more serious about baseball when I was young than music.
A best friend from Andy's high school, Sean, helped shift Andy's future path. In Andy's words, it was a kind of heavy story.
He was like a bubbly, fun, crazy guy. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then the day before college started, we were going to college in Philadelphia. We were going to start and go to the same school. And the day before, he went out on a date, went to dinner or whatever. No one thought anything of it. But then when I went to the next day to school, my friends ran up to me and they were like, hey, did you hear about Sean? And I'm like, no. And he had an awful car accident and went through the windshield of the car. We went to the hospital and they had, he was close to death. And so he survived for 2 days of surgery. It was very sad. But I had just started goofing around with guitar. And I had read somewhere that people in comas could hear music. So I started to sneak in to the ICU, the most intensive care, right? The nurses hated me. I'd be and I would bring the guitar and I would play. I only could play 3 chords. I could only play Elvis songs, right? Because that's all I just started learning. And I kept playing and I kept playing and I kept sneaking in. And one nurse she's like, okay, you can do this, you can do that. And so I for about 2 or 3 months. And then, still unconscious, he went to a different room, but still in ICU, still in intensive care and in a coma. And then one day, it was visiting time, and people from high school and his parents and everybody. And I had learned the song, the Pink Floyd song. This song, you know. So I wish you were. So it's a song called Wish You Were Here. And he came out of the coma mouthing the words to the song after 3-4 months in a coma. And everybody in the room was just like crying. And the nurse, a different nurse, came up to me and said, you should be a music therapist. And I'm like, what's a music therapist? And they said, we have a part-time music therapist here. I'm going to get them. I want you to talk to them. And so I talked to the music therapist, and it just so happens that at Temple University, it was like the best music therapy program almost in the world, right? My professor actually comes to China all over the world, sets up music therapy programs all over the world. She retired since, but yeah, so that's how I became a music therapist, my friend Sean.
Andy said that Sean is a lot better now, although he may still have some visual and cognitive challenges. The car accident had a very positive influence because Sean has become an active part of the local community, making everyone realize he has bounced back. And of course, he maintains a love of music. While majoring in music therapy, Andy did his internship at a state psychiatric hospital. Later, after graduation, he got his first job dealing with people who've suffered a traumatic brain injury at the same hospital where his dear friend Sean did his rehab. In the years that followed, Andy worked with people ranging from infants to seniors with neurological challenges, such as ADHD, autism spectrum disorders, and Alzheimer's.
The thing is, I think, and psychiatrists and psychologists and doctors, they would probably argue with me. However, I think that if you're doing really good work, you're internalizing, you're using your filter. If you're clear about understanding yourself and your own filter, how you think and how you feel, it's safe to be very close to someone and understand how they're feeling. That, I don't know if it's stressful, but it can be very tiring. And the system is challenging in itself, right? You have to do perfect notes and you have to be cool with your supervisor and all. I was not good at this. So that's why I went into private practice. It's stressful and tiring, but it's also beautiful and rewarding.
Despite all the stress and fatigue that comes with the work, Andy feels very lucky to have found this career path. It has been an interesting journey, fulfilling, sad, yet beautiful, to be able to help and support patients. And since Andy finds relief in writing songs, he has also drawn inspiration from those he's helped.
There was a little boy, he was like 3 or 4 years old in a psychiatric hospital. And he was a light-skinned black kid, like the most beautiful skin and bright green eyes, right? And why he was in a hospital,
Why?
behavior, I had a beautiful relationship with him. So much fun, and the song was like, oh, Joshua, what's behind your eyes? And are you a god in disguise? Joshua. So the song goes on and on.
Lovely boy, Joshua.
Beautiful, beautiful boy. Yeah, so songs like that, and a song called Center of the Universe. And this is a pretty heavy song, but really comes right out of the hospital because it was about a guy who everybody would line up. Every hour, everyone gets a free cigarette, and they go outside to the patio. But this guy, no smoking, he would wait, and he would go out to the patio, and on the wall, there was a dot, little black dot on the wall. And he would go there and stare at the dot. And I was like, what is he looking at, right? What is going on?
His world, mystery, mysterious.
Exactly, the center of the universe. And so one day I woke up and I had his song in my head. There's the center of the universe, a dot on the wall that was here first. It's a blessing and a curse to see the center of the universe. And so it was a whole song around this guy's world and what was happening in the psychiatric hospital.
There's the center of the universe, a dot on the wall that was here first. It's a blessing and a curse to see the center of the universe, a dot on the wall that was here first. The center of the universe.
I am quiet inside, though they drag me by a wire through the storm that cracks the sky. Oh, I am quiet inside.
A signature song from Andy Tubman is called Quiet Inside. Before the interview with Andy, I had heard this song several times being played as background music at a coffee shop here in Beijing. The song plays during a pivotal moment in the 2005 psychological thriller The Jacket, directed by John Mabry and starring Adrian Brody and Keira Knightley. And Andy's working experiences served as the inspirational backdrop for this track.
I was in LA, Los Angeles at the time, and I had a friend that I had met in Nashville, Keith Gaddis, and Keith had met the producer, this guy John, right, who produced The Jacket. Keith gave John my album Slow Gin Fizz. I thought nothing of it. But 2 months later, I get a call from this Englishman, and he's like, "Oh, I love your album." And I was like, okay. He said that he played the album while they were looking for locations through the hills of Scotland. And so they listened through the album while driving through Scotland. And so he sent me the script, me and Keith. Then from the script, where I read the script, I was like, oh, this is very familiar to me. So I was able to easily kind of pull from the hospital work, talk about even when things are chaotic, some people inside can actually be organized and have peace and be quiet. Yeah, and I've seen this before where certain people, not a lot, but certain people, even schizophrenic patients, I think especially actually, you and I, we would think, oh, they're crazy. But I actually think that when they're loved, not when they're traumatized, right? Some people become schizophrenic because of trauma, because of bad things. But sometimes when people are not traumatized, they're very interesting. They're some of my favorite patients to work with. And these people inside have a whole universe. So Quiet Inside, it kind of comes from that feeling of seeing these people who are so brilliant and so out there They can see things here that we can't see. So I love that about them.
For Andy Tubman, when he writes as a performing musician, he will write for art's sake, focusing and pulling from experiences and ideas centered around a specific subject. In contrast, when he creates as a music therapist, as part of a therapy session tailored to someone else's needs, his approach is vastly different.
Everyone wants to heal with music, but I think the difference is, well, one, the education, but two, is really not just to have a good intention to help somebody, but to have the intention and the clarity around the music as to why you're doing what you're doing. It's not so simple, actually. If you're working with a kid who's 17, he or she is angry at their parents, and you play them soft Chopin music, I would say that you're not meeting them where they are energetically. Mm-hmm. If you give them that music, they may put up a wall, and they may get angrier because they understand that you are not empathizing, you are not connecting with them, you are not open to understanding them. Maybe they need rock and roll. Then they can be like, yeah, I feel angry. And then the connection occurs. And then you can move into, he's like, well, my mom always, she hits me sometimes, and you use the music as a psychologist then. So with seniors, if somebody has dementia and they are 4:00 in the afternoon, they're starting to be like, where's my son? He's not coming to pick me up, right? And I don't like this, and and they're confused, right? And you're like, oh, let me play. What are you playing? Don't play that music for me. I don't want this, blah, blah, blah. But if you played, where's my son? Where's my son? And they're like, this guy's crazy. But energetically, I am matching. And then you go, here he comes, but where's my son? Here he comes. So you can use the music like a jazz musician. To me, that's a very powerful tool. So when you're with somebody who's agitated, soft music might not always be the best way. The sound of soft music is typically less offensive, but if you're doing clinical work, I would say you have to follow the lead of the client, and you have to understand the client and where their energy is.
Music's healing power has been acknowledged long before the term music therapy existed. In ancient Greece, Apollo embodied both music and medicine, while philosophers like Pythagoras, Aristotle, and Plato prescribed specific music modes to treat physical and psychological ailments and to shape character. The biblical account of David and Saul documents one of the earliest cases. David played the lyre to relieve the king's melancholy. In ancient China, the Huangdi Neijing, or the Yellow Emperor's classic of medicine, linked the 5 musical tones to the 5 elements and internal organs for medicinal purposes. Similarly, Egyptian healers used vocal intoning in rituals. Today, music therapy is defined as the clinical use of music to address physical, emotional, cognitive, and social needs. Research has validated its effectiveness in pain management, neurological rehabilitation, mental health treatments, and trauma recovery. While technology has expanded its reach, even into virtual reality music therapy.
It's very interesting. I like to differentiate between listening and active music making. So a passive experience and an active experience, exactly. By singing, you're engaging the whole brain. Language centers, timing centers, motor centers, planning centers, subcortical, topical, short-term memory, long-term memory, all the, right? Smoke coming out of your ears. When you're listening, To light up the whole brain, or to access good portions of the brain, the music needs to be relevant. Again, if the individual connects with that type of music, more of the brain is going to light up. But if the individual does not connect with the music, and it's just passive, only small parts of the brain are lighting up.
Get a good breath. Susan, help me. Get a good breath and sing. Hey. Beautiful. Keep it going.
This is Andy Tubman performing live and engaging with his audiences to unwind at the Blue Note Beijing, an iconic jazz club and live music venue expanded from New York City to Beijing, China. In 2019, Andy also landed in China for his first music tour in the country.
It was an incredible experience. I'd never been here before. I never experienced anything like that. You know, you walk out on stage and there's like 300 kids that know all of your songs. Like even songs they were like, play Hills Along the Way, and I'm like, I haven't played that in 5 years. I don't know. That's like they knew the music, you know. I think some of the most impactful memories were like when I was signing autographs after the shows, like a 30-year-old lawyer, a guy comes up to me and he waits for an hour and a half, you know, to get a signature because no one listens to CDs, right? Everyone's on their phone with the music now. So he was really just waiting to talk. And he told me that Quiet Inside and Lullaby and a handful of songs really helped him through depression for like a year and a half, he said. He said he would listen to these and it would kind of, he described it, but I call them holding songs, right? A song that holds you, like wraps you like a blanket, right? Mm-hmm. From a music therapist's point of view, not even from an artist's point of view, that was very, very impactful for me because I was always of the belief that I had to be in the room as a therapist to actually really affect somebody. And he taught me that I was wrong and I was short-sighted in that how powerful music can be in many situations and how, you know, universe, you know, has those sounds in it and they can really help. It was very impactful and I look at music a bit differently after that night. My dad, years and years ago, singing on the opera stage, he had vision 30, 40 years later, we should put songs on everybody's phone and people could sing and find humanity and not act so crazy. That really, it softens your emotional state. I like my dad's idea, being soft and connected to people and supporting and loving. So I think that, especially these days, the more music, the better. To have the open heart and to be connected to each other. Yes, I'm going to Beijing, where she's waiting.
That's Andy Tubman with his song Beijing Baby. He plays not to impress, but to accompany. And he's truly fortunate. He never has to choose between the stage and the therapy room. In both places, the same quiet truth holds. A single note, played with intention, can still settle a restless heart. From ancient lyres to modern clinics, music has always known how to reach places where words cannot. In hospitals, schools, and homes today, that power endures. The healing, it turns out, was never in the song alone, but in the space it creates for everyone to finally listen to. You're listening to Footprints, and I'm Huang Rui. And that's the end of today's episode. We'll see you in the next one.
am gone to Beijing to see my baby. Yes, I'm gone to Beijing, where she's wearing